See, if you lived in our neighborhood in 2007, you would know one room everyone avoided like a curse. The room on number 15 Elisha Street. It was just at the back of a compound, and that compound used to be very, very dark, no matter the season. So no matter how cheap rent was, no matter how desperate someone got, that room was always the last choice. I mean, nobody wanted to take that room. And when they finally took it, they vanished. Not one, not two, 4 different tenants, all gone, just like that. No warning, no luggage packed, no traces, just disappeared. Now, we thought it was just a coincidence until the 5th person moved in. There was a room in our neighborhood that held stories people rarely spoke about aloud. Now, it was not because they were unbelievable stories, but because they were too close, too real, and they were the kind of stories that stick to your skin and whisper to you in the middle of the night. That room was in the compound at number 15 Elisha Street. Just a plain, aging house in the heart of a very busy area. When you look at it on the surface, there was nothing special about it. But behind the familiar scent of kerosene stoves and the occasional laughter of children, something was deeply wrong with room 7. Now, it all started back in 2007. The rent was low even for that area, and yet that room was always the last one to be taken. Tenants would move into the other rooms with no hesitation, but you see that room 7 remained strangely empty. So the few people that took that room didn't last long. The first person was Idris, a man in his early 30s who had just gotten a new job nearby. Quiet, well-mannered human being, barely spoke unless spoken to. But 3 months after moving into the apartment, he didn't show up for work. His phone rang for a few days and then stopped. When the landlady finally forced the door open, the room was empty. His things were there, untouched, but Idris was gone. No signs of struggle, no blood, no note, just gone. Now, people whispered, but no one made a fuss about it. Lagos life moves very fast and people don't dwell long on strange things. So that changed when Ngozi, a 22-year-old student, also moved into the apartment shortly after that time. She was bubbly, she was smart, she was intelligent, and she was always offering to help neighbors with errands. But then again, within 2 months, she also vanished. The last time anyone saw her was when she went for a night vigil. She never returned. Her parents came crying. In fact, the police came briefly, asked a few questions, and left. No arrests, no leads, just silence. Are you following me? Now, by the time the 3rd and the 4th disappearances happened, the room had already earned a name among the locals, that is, among the people in the community. The name was the one that eats. So you will hear people speak in hushed tones, in quiet voices when new tenants visited. Some believed it was cursed. Others believed someone, maybe the landlord, was involved in something dark. But no one had any proof whatsoever. All they had were stories and fear. In fact, people who lived closest to the room spoke of strange occurrences. They spoke of muffled whispers at odd hours. Even when the room was empty, they still heard sounds. Some claimed they heard someone crying inside at night. Others said the walls bled during heavy rains. In fact, one woman swore that she saw a tall shadow standing in the window watching her as she walked past. But do you want to know the most chilling part? Every tenant before their disappearance started showing the same signs. They withdrew from other people, they mumbled to themselves, they drew strange marks on their doors or walls, and they did all of this as if something was slowly pulling them away from reality. So in 2010, a man named Kelvin moved into the same apartment. He was new in town, and when neighbors warned him, he laughed and said, "You people like drama too much." And he said all the ghost stories that you people hear or even see are in the movies. So for the first few weeks, everything seemed normal for him. But slowly, he changed. He started keeping to himself. A neighbor caught him at some point talking to someone that was not there, right outside the gate. Then one night, he burst out of the room, shirtless, and then he was screaming, it's inside with me." That was the last anyone saw of him. Now, here is where the story takes an even darker turn. A young boy in that same compound had a drone he played with. One of those small camera drones that kids love to fly around. So out of curiosity, and maybe to impress his friends, he flew it into the open window of that room, that is room 7. What they saw on the footage made everyone freeze. The video began with silence, then it became static. Then, a chilling frame. Something or someone was sitting on the bed. In fact, it was clearly seen it was a dark figure, motionless, and the head of that figure was slightly tilted. That is, the head was kind of bent. So it was bent as if he knew it was being watched. So the landlord was called after this incident. He denied everything. He said the stories were just village tales, that they were unreal. It was just meant to scare people. But the neighbors weren't convinced. Some people even claim that the house had been used for ritual activities back in the 80s. And that room 7 was where the victims were kept. So whether it was spiritual, psychological, or something more sinister, no one could explain how 5 people vanished in the same room without a single trace. So in 2012, a local pastor came forward determined to cleanse the place. He brought a prayer team and insisted on spending at least one night in that room. That night, the compound was silent. No movement, no noise, just cold tension in the air. You want to know what happened the next morning? The pastor left without a word. He never returned to that area. Some said he went blind. Others believe he left Lagos entirely, never speaking of what happened inside. The room has been locked ever since then. No one rents it. No one dares to go near it. But strangely, someone painted words on the door of room 7 in charcoal. It reads, "The room chose them." Although the writing on the wall has faded, but you can still see it if you look closely. Lagos, stories like this are often brushed aside. People say it's superstition, it's just an hearsay. That's it, just a coincidence. But ask anyone on Elisha Street and you will see it in their eyes, the fear and the knowing, especially for those who experience this. Because the truth is, some places hold energy that cannot be explained. Some rooms remember what was done in them, and some stories are just too real to be forgotten. Now, I've got a question for you. If you were offered that room for free now, rent paid, fully furnished, would you take it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There are many more real stories coming your way, only here on That Real Story. Until next time I come your way, stay blessed, stay safe, and always remember to be nice to people. See you on the next one. Bye for now.